I have this video written down in my drafts as a teeny tiny book haul because I thought that, you know, since I'd done my big I'm not gonna buy books, I'm gonna book buying man, I thought since that moment I'd bought like 2 books or 3 books at a push. So I was going to do like a little teeny tiny book haul just so I could get that out of the way before my birthday hits at the end of the month and I have like a lot more books. But then I was gathering the books for the video and it's just not as teeny tiny as I thought. To be fair, in this pile I only bought 3 of them. So does that make it better? Maybe. I don't know. So I'm not going to go in any particular order, I'm just going to go in the pile order, and the first 2 at the top are ones I bought myself, so we're just diving in with the ones that are my fault. And that is The Penelope Ad by Margaret Atwood and Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. And these ones I was like, okay, you know, I had £10 on my Waterstones Plus card, so I had £10 to spend, and I was in the bookshop and I thought, oh, I can just get 2 books because getting one with the £10 isn't worth it. I don't know, I thought like I should get 2 so that it's over £10 and then I get the £10 off and then it makes more sense. I thought I was making sense. It didn't really make that much sense in the end, because even though I got £10 off, it still cost me like £8, so I was just being a bit stupid actually. Anyway, let's talk about the books. So I've got The Penelope Ad by Margaret Atwood, because as you will probably all know and be bored of me talking about, I've read my first Atwood back in May when we read Cat's Eye for the Briar Rose Book Club, and I absolutely fell in love with Cat's Eye, so I've been wanting to read more Atwood since then, and having just read Pandora's Jar again for Briar Rose Book Club, which is a non-fiction novel about women and the Greek myths, The Penelope Ad just seemed like the right book to get, which is Margaret Atwood's retelling of the tale of Odysseus, but from the point of view of Penelope, the wife who is waiting for Odysseus to return home after the Trojan War. It just seems like a marriage of the 2 things that I know I like: Margaret Atwood's writing style and ideas, and women who have been overlooked in the Greek myths. You know, just mushing those 2 together, I just feel like it can't go wrong. And I'm very excited to get to it. Also, it's like, it's not very big, so I didn't feel too guilty about buying it and adding it to my huge TBR pile, because I was like, it's not going to throw the balance off by that much. But then when you look at the rest of this pile, I don't know what to say. I'm as disappointed in myself as you are, okay? And then the other purchase that I made on the same day was Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata, and if you haven't seen this around the internet, I don't know what booktube or book community you've been in, because literally everyone and their grandmother has talked about this. I feel like I see this everywhere, and it's always on like the table of like recommended whatever at Waterstones or Foyles, your bookshop of choice, and this was like huge when it came out. I really missed the hype, but I just saw it and the pink was calling out to me. Again, it's very small, and I just thought I'm like maybe at the age where I can appreciate it, because it's about, well, to be honest, this woman is 36 and I'm about to turn 24, so in my head I'm like an old woman already, so I'm like, I'm at the age where this will be right for me. But anyway, the blurb says, Keiko doesn't fit in. She's 36 years old, she's never had a boyfriend, and she's been working the same convenience store for 18 years. Her parents wish she'd get a better job, her friends wonder why she won't get married, but Keiko knows what makes her happy, and she's not going to let anyone take her away from her convenience store. From that very sort of brief description, I can sort of guess that it's about life and expectations and what it means to live a good life, and that is something that has been on my mind a lot lately, been weighing very heavy on my mind, having been a new graduate in COVID. So I'm hoping it'll maybe be one of those like, this book found me at the right time reads. But yeah, I'm very excited to get to this, and again, it's small, so I'm hoping I can get to it by the end of the year, and potentially these shorter books might help me like reach my Goodreads goal. So yeah, that's why I got those 2. The next big chunky hardback is not my fault. technically, I don't know. So my lovely partner Kieran got this for me when we were in Cambridge. So they've recently moved up there, and we were just exploring around, and we were in the bookshop, and Kieran was like, why don't you pick a book? And I was like, I probably shouldn't pick a book because I have too many, but I picked one, so I didn't protest that much. I really didn't. I should have protested more. But this is Slug by Holly McNish, and it is a poetry anthology, but it's not just poetry. I think there's also some essays and short stories and just different little bits in here. And Holly McNish is a poet that I've heard a lot about just in general, but I think I've seen specifically recommended on Leanne Rose's channel. So I've been meaning to get into Holly McNish for a while, and just felt in the mood for, you know, something a little bit different, because I've got a lot of fiction books I need to read, and I thought, oh, this will be quite nice. I can dip in and out of it, different poems. And I was flicking through in the bookshop, and it looks fun. There's some really funny, like, humorous poetry in here, and I think Holly McNish is very much of the school of, like, de-elitizing, if that's even a word, poetry, but basically writing not in the traditional sense, but making poetry accessible and funny, but also beautiful and playing with language. So I'm really excited to get into this. It is a big thick one, but I think it is one that, again, like I said, I can dip in and out of, so it won't feel too intimidating. But I'm very ready to dive into this sometime soon. The next one is very exciting because in my 7-year booktube history, is it 7 years? 7 years this November. In my 7-year booktube history, I have never received an ARC from a publisher. Now I have like 1 or 2 ARCs now because friends of mine have done it on hauls and they've had ARCs, and obviously you shouldn't sell them, so they've like just given them to me like for free when they've been doing on hauls. But this is the first ARC that I've had sent specifically to me by a publisher. Very excited. And the book is We Can Be Heroes, and there it is. It's advanced readers that you cannot see from there. I'll try to put in a close-up because I'm just very excited about it. And it is YA, it's from Harper, and it's so weird looking at it because at the front it says like, not like, you know, dedication, like to be inserted or something, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so weird like not having like a finished book, but I love it. It's so cool. And literally all I know about this is that it's YA, but here is the description, and it's probably out, you know, yeah, it is out by now, so if you like the sound of this, you can buy yourself a finished copy. I'm very excited. Beck and Vivian never could stand each other, but they always tried their best for their mutual friend Cassie. After the town moves on from Cassie's murder too fast, Beck and Vivian finally find common ground: vengeance. They memorialize Cassie by secretly painting murals of her around town, a message to the world that Cassie won't be forgotten. But Beck and Vivian are keeping secrets, like the third passenger riding in Beck's VW bus with them, Cassie's ghost. When their murals catch the attention of a podcaster covering Cassie's case, they become the catalyst for a debate that Bell Firearms can no longer ignore. With law enforcement closing in on them, Beck and Vivian hurry to give Cassie the closure she needs by delivering justice to those responsible for her death. I'm so excited for this. Literally as of yesterday, I am a podcast person. I've not been a podcast person for years. I've always been meaning to be a podcast person, because, you know, I love audiobooks, I like information, I like watching documentaries. Like, it just was a format that, like, I knew I should be, like, it was just geared for me to like, write podcasts, but I just had never taken the plunge. And yesterday I was very basic and I just listened to all of Serial in a day, season 1. And I know that's like very basic, everyone starts with Serial because it's like the biggest one. But I had a really good time, I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to finding more podcasts, listening to more podcasts. So it's very exciting to me that this book has a podcast element, especially like a true crime podcast element, because I am well-ish versed in the true crime community and all of its foibles and the things that it does positively. So I am interested in seeing how that element of this book plays out. So I'm very excited to read this. And the next one has a nice little paper bag. Don't you love that? I love the sound of a good paper bag. But Me and my dad were at the National Theatre, so this is the paper bag from the National Theatre bookshop. And it was really lovely because we hadn't been into National for a while because obviously in COVID. So this was our first time going back, and the play that we saw was The Normal Heart, which was a play about the sort of beginning of the AIDS crisis and how activists and prominent gay figures in the community were trying to bring awareness to other gay men about AIDS, and so like the very early like whistleblowers, and it was really good and really interesting, and the performances were amazing. But as always when we go to National, we had a look in the National Theatre bookshop, and just as I was browsing, Dad came over to me and was like, I got you something. And I was like, what do you mean you got me something? My birthday is like in a month. What are you doing? But he just got it for me on a whim because he just saw it and thought, oh, I don't think you've got that, and like I think you'd like it. And he was correct. So, drum roll please. I don't even know if you can see it from there with like the glare of my lamp. But this is Normal People, the scripts, which honestly so good because Dad knew that I had read Normal People, I'd watched the show. Dad also watched the show but told me that we wouldn't be able to watch it together because it's a bit, so we watched it separately and then we talked about it. And Dad knew that I was reading the new Sally Rooney, so it just seemed right that this should enter my life at this point. And obviously you all know that I am a film graduate and that I want to go into the film TV world, so it just feels right to have the scripts and to be able to read through the scripts and analyze them and find out what makes them great so that I can become a better writer, and just be immersed in that world. I'm very excited. And it is just a gorgeous object as well. I love the end papers. It has stills from the show, pictures from the show, and I'm just very ready to sort of dive in and look at this and the original text, because adaptation done well is something that really fascinates me. Being a lover of books and a lover of films, I really find it fascinating when adaptations go wrong and when they go well, and like what the difference between those two is. So yeah, thank you Dad for this very impromptu purchase, and I'm very grateful and excited. And the last book I have in my little pile for you today was a very impulse purchase, which then I sort of regretted. Not really. So basically I saw it come up on Waterstones as like a new thing, and I didn't know it was happening until I saw it come up, and I got very excited and just immediately pressed buy instead of like thinking it through, the way that I do. And it is This Much Is True by Queen Miriam Margolyes. Miriam Margolyes is a wonderful actress. She's probably best known for her like very scandalous appearances on Graham Norton, where she tells these very raunchy, very like funny stories from her life as an actress. But more than an actress, she's just like such a warm and funny presence. So even if you don't know who she is, just watching her or listening to her is a joy. So I knew that this book was just going to be incredible. So I ordered the signed hardback edition because I was like, love Queen Miriam, gotta stan. But then I found out that obviously she narrates the audiobook, and I think that is just going to be the best way to experience this book, is by listening to Miriam tell her story herself. So I actually don't know if I'll be like physically reading the copy, or if I'll just be listening to it. But either way, I have it, and it's gorgeous, and it has photos, and it's just a nice object to have. So, and I wanted to support obviously Miriam, so very excited to get into this. She has such a warmth and a humour to her, and I'm really looking forward to finding out more about her and her life and her career. Obviously in the showbiz industry, that is the industry that I'm looking to potentially get into, not as an actress, but just in general. So I'm very much looking forward to this, and just reading more about Miriam Margolyes, who is an icon, and your life will be made better simply by knowing about her and looking up her interviews and just knowing that she exists in the world. It's just pure joy. I love her. So that is it. Those are all the books that I have acquired since the last time I told myself I wasn't going to acquire books. Yeah. This has to be the last time, because my birthday is at the end of the month, and I'm going to be... I don't want to be presumptuous, but I'm probably going to get a couple of books for my birthday, and so I am well and truly fully stocked. I'm running out of room. I don't need any more books. So the only haul that will be coming is going to be a birthday book haul, and then that's it for the rest of the year until Christmas. Such a bad time of the year to be like, oh, I can't buy books because I want them for my birthday and I want them for Christmas. But then it's like, I have so many. Anyway, as always, please let me know if you've read any of the books that I've talked about today, or if you're excited about any of the books that I've talked about today, or just any books in general. Just leave me a bookish comment. I will very much appreciate it. And I will see you soon in another video soon. Bye!